Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Stencil Saturday video. This week, at the moment, I happen to be working on a lot of things for my new grid work class. And so kind of my brain is just full of this grid stuff. It's where I'm at the moment. So we're going to do a grid design for this week's design. And you'll notice that what I did was I marked the Lines and Grids Stencil, and I just marked it, the whole, to cover the whole square. I then rotated it and marked it diagonally, just no particular place, just kind of chopping off this one corner, because I really like the idea of mixing things up at all different, things within this same grid. And then I want to add, you'll notice over here on the side, I used my little chalk pencil and I put a tick mark here and here and here and here, because I want to go back and add some lines in here and put something inside between them at the very end. So for me, the first step is going to be, I'm just going to stitch all of these vertical lines the whole way across, because I am going to do these, but I'm going to do those second. So I want to just get all of these lines stitched in. And one little tip I will give you, and you're going to notice, because I'll stitch a little bit, but then I'll speed it up. But I want to explain what it is I'm doing. Generally, I will not just like start here and do line after line after line, because if you've ever stitched a lot of straight lines together, what happens is it starts to distort a little bit. And so by the time you get, like, let's say, I don't know, about over here, when you go to line up your ruler, you're going to notice that these are bowing. It's not quite straight. So what I like to do is I usually will stitch like 2, scoot over, no particular number, just whatever, like maybe 4 or 5, and then do a line. And then I'll go back and fill that in, go do, skip some, do a line. It kind of stabilizes it, so it's now stitched over on this side and this side. So this shouldn't distort as much in the middle. And then I'll do the same thing until this whole piece is filled in. So I'm just going to start at the top up here. I'm just going to use straight ruler and just kind of up and down until I have this whole square filled in. So I'll scoot over here. This one. And you can go, some people will actually do every other one and then go back, but I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to divide this up somewhat into segments here and then go back and fill. And that's probably good. I'm going to go over here to the last one. And now I'm just going to work my way back, filling in these lines. right, so that is the end of the vertical lines. Let me go ahead and, I was right where I needed to be, and now I just, whatever. Okay, I'm going to start right where I just ended again. And now I'm going to do these diagonal lines. So I'm just going to start right here and do those real quick. And I'm also going to stitch those at 1/2 inch just as they're marked. Probably should have skipped around on these, but I think it should be okay. With all the other lines already stitched, there shouldn't really be any distortion. And you'll notice mine are not all. I generally try to aim kind of for the center of the stencil line, but that tiny little bit being off really is not the end of the world. Almost done. Okay, now that we have those in, I said that we wanted to add something up on that left-hand corner, and what I'm thinking is that, I don't know, I should have probably talked about that before I stitched. You can still see. So every inch, there's a dot at every inch. The purpose of that is that if you want to mark a grid, then you can just turn the stencil to line up, to, you know, connect. You can match up the dots in both directions. But I'm going to use those to stitch across. And where I marked, well, actually I want to stitch all of them, so I'm going to stitch, no I'm not, I'm going to stitch where I marked and show you what we're going to add in here. Okay, so I'm going to stitch across all of these dots. And now I'm going to have to, I want to do, you know what, I probably better give myself a line over here. It was this one to this one, so I don't forget where I'm going. So I'm going to scoot down there. I'm just backtracking along there till I get to my mark. That didn't go quite far enough, did I? Oh, yeah, no, I am. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to stitch across. So now we have these cool long ones, you know, and maybe you want yours to be smaller, but I want to add something in there. And so what I'm going to do is stitch over to here. Oh no, I want my arrows to be going. So I'm going to do little arrows. I need a smaller roller for this because it's so little. I'm going to stitch, now we have these dots in the center. So I'm going to stitch up to that dot. Travel. Stitch to that dot. And then back to this corner. Travel. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just going to do that the whole way across. And I'm just Okay, now that those are done, see we have these little almost, well they are, they're little flying geese. And initially I thought I wanted to put some here, but I kind of feel like I really like it just as it is. Because, you know, then I think if I put it here, it might just be too many things. And I don't like the idea of this angle coming up and meeting with something that's a different angle. So I think I'm going to let it go because it's nice. I mean, you notice this is different. And then you have the lines that kind of flow. Looks like they go behind each of these elements. Let me go ahead and get rid of this chalk so we can see it good. Okay, so that is the design. Pretty cool, mixed up grid, minus the chalk marks, mostly. I really like it. You know, if I had a big empty area or a block that was, I would say, a little bit more on the contemporary modern side, this is a really no-brain way to kind of fill it because you have the lines right there. You can just connect some points, follow the lines that are there, and you end up with a pretty cool design. Let me turn the light off here for a second, probably be able to see it a little bit better, the texture of it. I think for me it's one of those designs where you just need to feel the texture. Okay, so that is this week's design, and I will see you next time. Bye.